Recording in progress. Good afternoon, members. We're just waiting on the chairperson to join and the meeting will start. Thank you very much.
Attend the ICASA, jamani sengena ku visual. Hey, tinagiti aku
Good afternoon, members, and welcome to the committee meeting. Unfortunately, the chairperson is not available to chair at this time, and he has therefore designated Mr. Imran Subrathi to chair the proceedings of the subcommittee. Thank you, honorable members. Mr. Subrathi.
Thank you, Teminkosi. And good afternoon, honorable members and guests to this meeting, to this special meeting. To begin with, Comrade Teminkosi, Secretariat, can you just firstly fly to the agenda for the meeting and indicate to us if there are any apologies? We note that the chair is delayed. Can you please give us any apologies for this meeting, Teminkosi?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Subrati. As I'm preparing to share the notice of the meeting, the only apology would that be of the chairperson. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Secretariat, thank you for writing it. So the agenda is the briefing by the Committee Secretariat on the roadmap for the appointment of the Independent Communications Authority of South Africa, councillors, and distribution of documents to members. And the second item on the agenda is the consideration and adoption of the subcommittee program. Members, the agenda is before you. Before we proceed, can we have an adoption of the agenda? Can we have someone to move for the adoption, please?
I move.
Matafa,
Thank you, Honorable
seconds.
Matafa. Thank you. And who is seconding?
Honorable Matafa.
Thank you, Honorable Matafa. Thank you, honorable members. The agenda has been adopted. I want to just start off with an introductory comment, and that most of the members here, including myself, etc., are really new to the processes, and we will be guided, as the agenda suggests, by the Committee Secretariat. So Committee Secretaries, do not assume that we know too much. Please assume that this is also an induction in terms of the process. What we do know is that there are 4 vacancies on the ICASA board, and that their term has come to an end. We do know that there may be advertisements have gone out. So without further information, this is what I am aware of, and we are here to understand the process for filling those vacancies. So we'll hand over to Secretariat to guide us as per the agenda in terms of the process we need to follow. Over to you, Teminkosi and members of the Secretariat, to guide the meeting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Subrati. That is the purpose of the first agenda is just to give members a brief background on the process that is before the committee. I have the team of content advisors, Mr. Malega and Dr. Medupe, as well as Ms. Sadi. To begin the presentation, honorable members, as per the ICASA Act, the council consists of 9 members, a chairperson, and 8 other councillors appointed by the minister upon the approval by the National Assembly, according to the following principles, which are namely the participation by the public in the nomination process, transparency and openness, and the publication of a short list of candidates for appointment with due regard to subsection 3 and section 6. The National Assembly must then submit to the minister a list of suitable candidates, at least 1.5 times the number of councillors to be appointed. So what this means, honorable members, when there's a vacancy for 1 councillor, we normally send to the minister 2 names, and then the minister would choose from those 2 names, which is 1.5. And then when there's 2 vacancies, then we send 3 names, and so on and so on. And then currently, honorable members, there are 5 councillors in the ICASA. It's Mr. Mutibi Ramusi as the chairperson, Ms. Tabisa Faye, who presented to the committee yesterday, Ms. Digeledi Mushi, Ms. Nombucuko Nontombana, and Ms. Ndombiza Sitol. Safe to say that the 3 councillors members whose term came to an end at the end of August were all extended except for 1. There was extension of 3 council members' terms. The Act allows for that, for the period to be extended by 45 days after the expiry of the term. And those 3 councillors are Dr. Charlie Lewis, Mr. Zimri, and Advocate Lutando Mkumatela. And that extension will come to an end on the 24th of October, which is next week. So how we arrived here, honorable members, we had a letter dated 7th August from the Speaker of the National Assembly. She had indicated that she had received communication from the minister informing her of the impending lapse of the term of the 4 councillors and requesting Parliament to then initiate the process, the recruitment process to fill the vacancies. The 4 councillors, honorable members, I've already mentioned the 3, Dr. Charlie Lewis, Mr. Peter Zimri, and Advocate Kumatela. The 4th councillor is Ms. Yola Makedama. Ms. Kedama, as per the next slide, even though she was eligible together, she's eligible together with Advocate Kumatela and Dr. Lewis for reappointment as they've served 1 term each. She submitted a resignation and her term then ended on the 14th of September in 2024. Honorable members, the chairperson, the speaker rather, did urge that the committee expedite the filling of the vacancies. As you would have seen earlier, I mentioned that the letter came on the 7th of August. We had been aware of the vacancies, so which is why when the Secretariat presented the legacy report to the committee on 23 July, requested permission to place advertisements as soon as the matter was referred to it. And as such, we did advertise. The advertisement was published in all 11 official languages. It was published on all Parliament social media platforms. And members, I'm sure they would have also come across it because it was shared with members as well for further circulation. The closing date, honorable members, was the 6th of September 2024. And then we had time to work on the nominations that were received. And then we also had constituency period in between. And as members would have been aware, last week they were on the oversight visit. Honorable members, we received 270 nominations/applications because we do allow members of the public to also self-nominate or submit it as an application. Honorable members, we had a meeting on Tuesday, the 20th of August of this year, where a 7-member subcommittee was established to deal with the appointment of ICASA Council, which is the members that are here on this platform today. The committee had agreed that the meeting would be opened to other members that might have interest to join in as well from the committee. Hence, the link and the communication for this meeting was shared to all members. So what we expect, honorable members, is that the subcommittee is expected to shortlist 12 candidates that will be interviewed for the 4 vacancies in the council. Honorable members, this number is a proposal based on how we dealt with vacancies previously, wherein the committee would shortlist 3 candidates per vacancy. But this is just a proposal from us, and members are open to do otherwise with it. Thank you very much. And then furthermore, members, the subcommittee, my apologies, the subcommittee would be once the subcommittee has shortlisted, and it will then table a list of its recommendations to the full committee, wherein the committee will then adopt a report on the shortlisted candidates. And the process that follows after that is that the names of the shortlisted candidates are published in all parliamentary social media platforms and mainstream media for a period not exceeding 12 days. Honorable members, you will see where these 12 days come from maybe when we're presenting a proposed program for the process. And that is to allow for public comments. We publish these names. It's a requirement on the Act. Names of the shortlisted candidates. We normally send the names out with a media statement inviting members of the public to make comments on the names of shortlisted candidates, but a committee report also containing the names of the shortlisted candidate would be tabled to the National Assembly upon adoption by the committee. Honorable members, what happens is that once the committee has shortlisted, and then we also start with the process of conducting qualification verifications that is done with the assistance of our parliamentary human resources. And we also do personnel suitability checks on the candidates through the state security services. And because those processes can take up to 2 weeks, so we normally run them concurrently with the interviews. But what we do not do is to finalize the process in terms of adopting a final report without having received feedback from the two institutions that will assist with verifications. Oh, sorry, honorable members. I think this is just the repetition, the first three. Upon then the completion of the interviews, subcommittee will then deliberate on the outcome. Ordinarily, the subcommittee would have a list, would come out with a list of the recommended candidates, and we develop a report, and then we'd go and table a report together with those names to the committee for appointment. I've said that the names of 6 candidates recommended for appointment with the ICASA Council, taking into consideration what I had earlier explained in relation to the number of candidates that are the names of the number of candidates that are sent to the minister when there's a vacancy, which is 1.5. I think that would be it on this process, members. I will be guided by you on whether to proceed and then present the draft program, or you want to engage on the presentation first. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Thank you, Taminkosi, for that introduction in terms of where we are and what needs to be done. Before we go to the program, I think it's important for us to engage your presentation so that we can see clarity. I think I'd now open it up to the honorable members to seek clarity from what you have presented to us before we move on to the process of the program. So the floor is now open for honorable members to seek clarity from what the Secretariat has presented to us.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable Matafa, I recognize you as number 1. Just waiting for other hands. So, Honorable Matafa, I recognize you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you for the presentation from Ndadengoma. Mine is just one simple question. As far as the shortlisting and interviews are concerned, in one of the submissions, he's stating that there are members who served 1 term and are eligible for appointment. My question would be, those that are eligible for appointment, would their names also come through the normal process of nominations? And if they accept nominations, would they still be subjected to interviews? Or does it become automatic? It's just that one clarity-seeking question, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Matafa. The honorable member, sorry, the name as it appears is Ketambala. Please excuse my honorable member. Can you please, I recognize you.
Thank you very much, Acting Chairperson.
Honorable Sitole. Honorable Sitole.
Yes.
Okay. I recognize you, Honorable Sitole.
Okay, thank you very much. No, I think my question has been covered by the first speaker, because what I'm trying to check is the members that are existing in board.
Yes.
Their contractors are going to be finished or terminated or at the end of the terms. Are we going to interview them, or they will be the part of the 4 that we have? Because sometimes it can be a waste of our time to interview somebody who's already in the board. I'm trying to check that one, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sitole. I see the hands of Honorable Matisse. Honorable Matisse, I recognize you.
Thank you. Was there not someone before me, or I'm just taking over?
No, it's you.
I
I
mean, I know
recognize you.
everybody wants to see me and talk talk to me. Mine just quickly is if we can be furnished with the guidelines on who is eligible, because this is the first time I'm hearing that members of who have served one term in Parliament is eligible to apply or to be nominated to a committee, because then we're already talking every single member of Parliament is affiliated with a political party, right? It's not possible that you get in as a member of a Parliament and you're not. So if a party is recommending you as a member of Parliament, it means that you have a pretty steady track record in that political party. And then I'm sure you can see how that can affect that later on we accept you, or we can even process you to be a member to serve on an entity such as this. So I would just like some clarity or how and when this decision was taken in that regard. Acting Chairperson, thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Matisse. I see no other hands. On my side, is there any other hands? Yes, Honorable Ndlela, I recognize you. Are you wanting to speak?
Yes, Acting Chairperson. So to me, I just wanted clarity on both, or should I say all three comments, because there seem to be two scenarios here. And that's where I sought some clarity. Are we talking about a member of Parliament serving on the board as a commissioner, or are we saying that a previous councillor who served on the board at least one term can serve again, for in effect a second term? And then I guess the middle ground question then is, what is the process? Are they going to fall as part of the 12? And what is the criteria to shortlist the 12? Are we going to have physical interviews? Are we going to have access to all the CVs that were submitted? And what is the process of arriving to the 12 before we even question whether the 12 is a threshold or not? Thanks.
Thanks, Honorable Ndlela. Let me just check if there's any other hands up. I see no other hands. So before I hand over to Secretariat to respond, let me just also make some clarity-seeking questions. Mine is also aligned around what Honorable Ndlela has mentioned, Honorable Teminkosi. We've received 270 nominations. I would imagine 270 CVs were received, from which the Secretariat is going to recommend to us, that process is going to be brought down to 12, whom we will be interviewing. So my first question is, what is the process from reducing from 270 to 12? Who is doing that? When will that be done? And I suppose you will talk about this in your program. And then the question that the honorable members had raised, in that 12, do those who are eligible for re-election automatically qualify to be in the 12, or will they go through the shortlisting process? So we need clarity over there. And I think the question that's come through is that I think this question Honorable Matisse had mentioned surrounding the political association of members needs some clarity over there. I don't think MPs, if I understood Honorable Ndlela was seeking clarity, I'm assuming that members who are commissioners or councillors on the ICASA board can't be members of Parliament. So I would think that needs to be clarified. But for me, I think your program will talk a lot through this, but I'm more interested in how are we going to take the 270 and bring them down to 12? What are the criteria? How do we, go to the entire process, and who does that? And then from the 12, when we're recommending 6, and I kind of like understand where you mentioned 1.5 times. And then my question will be, from the 6, because there's 4 vacancies, who then decides who are the 4 out of the 6 that will qualify? But I think I'll hand over to Secretariat to maybe give us clarity before we move over to the program of action. Temi Nkosi, can I invite you?
Chair.
Yes. Sorry, before Temi Nkosi, let me
Thank you.
recognize
Sorry.
that.
I thought you might
Yes.
not have seen my hand, and I know that it's not really proper to talk after the.
Sorry, Honorable Matthias. It's fine. You can go ahead. Thank you.
It was just to clarify. I do understand that they are saying, or what they have reported is that if you served 1 term of parliament, then you're eligible. Obviously not. You can't currently be serving 1. But even in that instance, the fact that you served means that you came through a political party and you affiliated rather strongly with the political party. So just to clarify that I got it, that it was 1 term, obviously not currently serving. I would have just liked the Secretariat to clarify how, what, and what processes were followed to be able to allow that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Matthias. Temi Nkosi, can I invite you, in the absence of any other hands of members, to take us through?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. As I respond to your question, I've just asked my team to just also bring in some sections of the Act that talks to the eligibility on appointment of ICASA Council. But just to clarify, honorable members, that ICASA councillors can serve for 2 terms. The mention of eligibility in relation to the said councillors was on the basis that they had already served 1 term. It does not. It's not to say that they should then automatically be included in whatever shortlist when the committee does so. They still go through the same processes as everyone else, which is being nominated, accepting the nomination and submitting and going through the process of shortlist. For the time that I have served in the committee, there were instances where a person that has served a term would not be recommended for a 2nd term, and there were also instances where people that have served a term would then be recommended for a 2nd term. But that lies with the committee. It doesn't give them any advantage over other candidates. Maybe I would say the 270 that we are talking of is the 2 nominations. Is the number of nominations that we received. Maybe to indicate that yes, the 2 candidates have also applied like everyone else. We do have nomination for them. Honorable members, the councillors serve for a 4-year term. They are executive, which means it's Monday to Friday in office. So I doubt that, as I have asked my colleagues to just also bring in the Act, but it does. I'm sure the Act doesn't make provisions for a person to hold a position at ICASA and a position somewhere else. People that have previously applied, who were in the employ of any institutions, have resigned from their previous employment before taking up the work at ICASA. So on the issue of, I hope I have clarified the issue of those members having been eligible. I think it was just mentioned because that is direct from the letter of the minister to the speaker, which was then referred to the committee. It was just indicated on the letter that the 2. In actual fact, there were 3 councillors that were eligible, one being also Ms. Yolisa Kedama, but she tendered a resignation and the term ended on the 14th of September. So which then left the 2 councillors, Dr. Charles Lewis and Advocate Kumatela, but they have also, like I've indicated, Chair, they have reapplied. I hope I have explained the issue of what we meant when we said that. And Chairperson, the other matter was on how we arrived at the 12 candidates. I think during my presentation, I provided a brief background on how we're making this proposal to the subcommittee. It was on the basis that because there are 4 vacancies, and what previously would be done is to shortlist 3 candidates per 1 vacancy. So, but that all it's dependent on the subcommittee. The subcommittee can agree on a number of candidates to be shortlisted. Just to speak briefly on the 270 nomination received, which formed part of all the documents that would be distributed to the members. We do have a list, a master list of all the applicants, and members would also be provided with a link that will take you to the full nominations of all the candidates, which would include the nomination letters, CVs, qualifications. But we do have a list of summarized versions of the candidate CVs, and the content advisor are also working on a pre-short list just to highlight for members who are the candidates that would meet the requirements in terms of the Act. Again, honorable members, you will see on the program, when I present the program after this presentation, there are proposed dates for shortlisting, interviews, and deliberations. Yeah, I think I would rather than speak to that when we get to the program. But the meetings, honorable members, whether they are physical or virtual, they are really dependent on the committee. But of course, we always also just make proposal in line with the parliamentary program, in line with the current committee program, because we treat this as a little separate to the work of the committee. Hence, we've established a subcommittee on it. So we also have a program that is still under discussion on the other work before the committee. So currently, there's the program that will be presented will be guided by members on how to set up the meetings going forward. We've had previously interviews physical, we've had interviews virtual, but it is up to the members on how they would like to approach that. I think I have responded to all the questions, but I would also invite my 2 colleagues to make any additions. And if there's anything that I have not clarified, Chair, I would try and maybe provide another explanation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Teminkosi. Is there any members from the Secretariat who wishes to add to what Teminkosi has, to the response of Teminkosi from the Secretariat that are present? If you wish to respond, please let me recognize you. If there's any additions or improvements from members of the Secretariat. Honorable Matisse, I see your hand is up. And let me recognize Honorable Matisse first, and thereafter, sorry, your hands are down. Mbo Maleka, can I recognize you? I recognize you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Good afternoon, honorable members. I'm here with the pastor next to me, and we just wanted to clarify a couple of things. The first one, honorable members, through you, Honorable Chair, is to say that in terms of the shortlisting process, it's entirely a political issue. What I mean by that is that in the past, what we usually do is all the various parties will then go and do their caucuses and come back with, for instance, in this case, we have 12 nominations to do to put through for the interviews. So each of the parties will propose 12 names. It's not always 12 names. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But those are party-oriented names that are then brought to the subcommittee. And then we sit down as secretariat, and then we do a process of elimination. That is to mean if a particular name is common across all the parties that have nominated, then that name automatically goes into the basket of the 12 that need to be interviewed. And the process goes on. And then sometimes you find that there's a name that is there that a particular party really feels strongly about, then they will motivate, and through a consensus decision, that name will then be put in the same kitty of the 12 people. The ultimate goal is to come out with 12 nominations that will go and sit through the interview process. And I think it's quite important that we clarify that, members, that while we can do a process of elimination in as far as disqualifying people who did not comply with the advert, the onus is on the honorable members to take the process further. We can only eliminate so much, but it's the political parties that then make the decisions as to which names are put forward to form part of this 12 kitty that should go through the interview process. And of course, after the interview process, the entire elimination process will start through the discussions thereof. The other issue I wanted to talk to honorable members is that Section 6 of the ICASA Act covers quite vastly around the disqualifications of people to participate. Amongst others would be subsection C, which says that if you are a public servant or a holder or of any other remunerated position under the state, then you do not qualify to be a member of the council. And I think Mr. Ngoma did touch on that you cannot be employed and then be full-time councillor at ICASA. I'd like to move on lastly through you, Honorable Chair, to Section 7 of the Act. Section 7, subsection 1 and 2 are specific in as far as the chairperson of the council, that the chairperson holds office for a period of 5 years as from the date of his appointment. And further to say the chairperson may, at the end of his term or her term of office, be reappointed in terms of Section 5, one additional term of 5 years only. It also continues in subsection 2 of the same Section 7 to say that the other councillors hold office for a period of 4 years as from the date of their appointment. Lastly, Honorable Chair, Section 5 is specific to say a councillor may, at the end of his or her term of office, be reappointed in terms of Section 5 for an additional term of 4 years only. And I will really encourage the members to look at the two sections that I've just referred to for future reference as we go forward in this process. But at least to say that it is a laborious process, but we try by all means to ensure that all the voices and views of members are taken into consideration up to the final decision. Of course, the decision is made by yourselves. Our role really is merely to guide the process going forward, Honorable Chair. I will give the pastor a chance to say something if he has something to add on that, but on my side, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think Mr. Maleka has really, covered the legislative part, which is quite imperative in terms of who qualifies and the process going forward in terms of the time frame on the terms, both the chairperson and the council members. In that score, I am fully covered, Chair. Can I be allowed to leave it at that? Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maleka, and to the Honorable Doctor for giving us that guidance. I think we are going to be guided by yourselves, and we have full faith in your stewardship to hold us through, and we understand that ultimately it is the responsibility of the committee to make the decision. I think it would be appropriate now that we, if there's no further comments, I think it would be more appropriate that we get into the program, which already outlined for us the timeframes we need to work towards. So without further ado, I'd invite Tim Nkosi to please present to us the proposed program of action.
Thank you, Mr. Subrathi. Honorable members,
Sorry, Teminkosi, before you proceed, you mentioned that there was the term of office after the 45 days expires on the 24th of October. That's like next week. So just give us very quickly at a high level, what will happen after that? Those vacancies will remain until we fill it. Is that correct?
Thank you very much, Chair. That is correct. Chair, those vacancies will be vacant until they are filled by the committee. The council will be left with 5 members, as I had presented earlier, and then and that would be yes, Chair. And thank you so much.
So if there's any decisions to be made by ICASA, those 5 members will make the decisions until such time that the committee elects the additional 4 members and restores it to 9. I'm just trying to understand from the process point of view so that there is still leadership within the board of ICASA. Is that correct?
Mr. Maleka, please respond to that.
My apologies, I missed the questions. Please repeat.
My question is, we understand that the position of those 4 positions will end the 24th, which is next week. ICASA still has to run. So our understanding is that until such time that the committee appoints those 4 vacant positions, the remaining 5 members that are on the board of ICASA will continue to run the affairs of ICASA and carry out the duties that are needed until such time that the committee fills in the remaining 4 vacancies.
Honorable members, yes, the quorum still remains, but however, the doc is here, he'll explain some more on it, but the functionality of ICASA still remains. I think this is quite urgent that we expedite the appointments. The ICASA will still be able to make decisions in that case. The doc will add some.
Let me fully concur on that, Chair, that with the 4+1, which is the 5 councillors that are remaining, the quorum, should still be, they should still be, eligible to, to run the council with the 5 members that are remaining. So ICASA should be able to function with the 5 existing members. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Teminkosi.
Thank you very much, sir. Members, as I had indicated earlier, that in drafting this program, we took into consideration the parliamentary program first, and we also look at the current existing program of the committee. So the program starts with today's meeting. Yes, it starts with today's meeting. And then, honorable members, we propose that because of the urgency of these appointments, that on Tuesday next week, we take an hour to meet and go through the short list of candidates for the vacancies. The reason why, honorable members, it's scheduled, we've put up that time is because there's a committee meeting in the morning, and there's a house sitting in the afternoon and from 2 o'clock. And according to the current parliamentary program, that house sitting is scheduled to finish at 6 o'clock. So that's why we proposing that hour on Tuesday. And on 28, Monday, we're proposing that that day be we conduct interviews on that day. Again, honorable members, we've looked at the parliamentary program, and the best day we could get to conduct those interviews is unfortunately a constituency day because of it being a Monday, and it will be the Monday of the 28th of October 2024. And we've set the whole day for the interviews, even though, honorable members, sometimes when time allows, we'll conduct the interviews over 2 days. We've always tried not to split the days too much, because the interviews are done in public, and there would always be a record of those candidates that were interviewed earlier. So we always try to schedule a day or two for those interviews, and also will be guided by the number of candidates that the subcommittee would agree on shortlisting. And then we'll, if possible, then we'll revise the times as per the program. And then, honorable members, we're expecting that following that would be on Friday, the 1st of November, where the subcommittee will then deliberate on the outcome of the interviews, and then come out with a list of recommended candidates for appointment, and will then develop a report for the committee with that list of candidates, and then it will be the first the finalization of the first phase of this appointment process. I'm saying, honorable members, maybe it's something that I should have mentioned in my first presentation. I'm saying that the first phase, because once we've tabled our report recommending candidates to be appointed, the report goes to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly, once it adopts, it goes to the minister. And you'd remember earlier I mentioned the 1.5 referral, and in this instance, I had indicated that for ICASA, because there are 4 vacancies, we probably have to send 6 names, which is 1.5 of 4. So the minister then, honorable members would, from those names, indicate which candidates he would want to appoint to ICASA, and then refer that matter back to the National Assembly, and then the National Assembly would then refer to the committee. And if the committee is satisfied with those appointments, then the committee would just concur with the minister, and the appointments will go ahead, which is the phase that I'm saying, it's the phase 2. So this would then be the end of the Friday, 1 November, would then complete the phase 1 of this process. Honorable members, on the shortlisting, and as well, once the subcommittee has agreed on a short list of candidates, that also goes to the committee. And the committee adopts a report. As I had mentioned earlier, that's the report then that gets published on the ATC and all social media platforms or media platforms, in order to allow members of the public to make comments. That's the proposed program. It's up to you, members. It is your program and will be guided by you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman Kosi. Okay, I have questions from the members. Chairman Kosi, I have one query. You mentioned earlier, if you can keep the program up, please. Keep the program up. You mentioned that there must be 12 days, a period before we publish the details. So from what I'm seeing, the 22nd, which is next week, Tuesday, we will meet for a short listing of those 12 candidates, okay? And that's when you will publish, once the committee adopts it, then there will be a publishing of that names. I don't see 12 days passing till the 1st of November. Are we happy with that time before we carry out the interviews? Is there sufficient time for public scrutiny of the suggested shortlisted candidates? That's my question to you. Are we meeting that criteria of sufficient time for public scrutiny?
I see other members' hands is up. Chair, I'll be guided by you if I should respond now, or
Yeah.
allow
okay.
other
Well,
members
let's recognize. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, so let me recognize in the order the Honorable Diko. Thereafter, Honorable Sitole, and then Honorable Machis. In that order, please. Honorable Diko, I recognize you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and my apologies for running late. I totally lost of time, so I do apologize. I just have one question, which I think then another question will flow from it. The ICASA Act, if I'm not mistaken, the original act spoke about, was it 7 members of the council? I'm not seeing in the amendment to 9, but I'll take it as a given that it is now 9 members. But I'm just worried about the process that Tembinkosi has just outlined, because my understanding is that the council, if you read section 5(1) of the ICASA Act, council consists of 7 councillors appointed by the president on the recommendation of the National Assembly. And then it is the president who then appoints a chairperson, blah, blah, blah. Now, Tembinkosi, Mr. Ngoma is talking about us making a recommendation to the minister, and then the minister decides who he's applying on a principle of 1.5. Is it something that I missed, perhaps, a chairperson, in the initial briefing? And if so, my sincere apologies. But can I be clarified? Because I thought that we are looking for 4 councillors. We will run the process and recommend 4 councillors to the National Assembly. Should the National Assembly accept that recommendation, it is then made to the president, who will then appoint. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Diko. Honorable Sitole. Honorable Sitole, I recognize you. Your hands are up. Hands are down. Honorable Matisse.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Sitole has disappeared. I must tell you, he's not coming back. I'm kidding.
I'm back now.
Too late.
I'm back.
I'll be quick though, Chair. I'm covered about the recommendation and stuff. My question is that as members of the subcommittee, we have from today until Tuesday to go through, is it how many names? 200 and something that were
170.
Yeah, and I would like, well, myself personally, as a representative of the people, I would like to have a short list, or that our administrators give us a link so we can go through all the submissions and give us a summary. So, for example, those that have been excluded because they didn't meet a criteria or etc., that you say, okay, this person has been excluded because of this, and we are able to go back and look at their application and confirm that they've been excluded because of this reason. So I don't know if it's going to be enough time. I'll be guided. It'll just mean that, but by Tuesday, when we have to go through 12 names, it must be that we as a committee, myself as a representative of a political party, must have gone through all 200 and something names and be able to come with the recommendation. I mean, it's not something that we should be leaving to staff members to sift through and say, okay, these are going to be the 12 members that we have shortlisted. And not that necessarily there's a problem with that, but ultimately as representatives and public representatives, we must also satisfy ourselves that we have done that. So my question is just that we must have enough time to scrutinize all the submissions that we have received. And then perhaps we can also just look at saying, okay, make sure as a political party or as a representative on the subcommittee, by Monday you have submitted your names on who you think should be shortlisted. And then as it was explained, that this is all finalized and it's presented to us on Tuesday. Constituency days on Mondays, I mean, I don't know, I serve in a council or in a political party in a structure where on Mondays is very busy days for us organizationally. And I would like to recommend that we rather do interviews on a Friday. I think across all political parties, Fridays are a more of a relaxed day in terms of activity, both in Parliament and organizationally. And then perhaps on the Tuesday we can deliberate. But I think Monday to have interviews, it might be a bit of a stretch. But yeah, that's something I can also just process, but that's my recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Sithole.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, first of all, I agree with the last honorable from Honorable Matheus.
You trying to get me, Honorable Sithole.
Wait, Monday is a very heavy schedule day because it's a constituency work. So now every Monday we have some activities that is happening, especially in my party on Monday. So now I don't know what or how are we going to handle that one, but it's fine because one person cannot stop the program of Parliament and the committee. But from 28th to the 1st, I won't be available even here in Cape Town because I'm preparing for my cleansing at home. So now I won't be available for the whole of that week. So I think I make an early apology for 28 and the 1st. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. But the time is very short. If you give us only 2 weeks to finish this, 200 and something candidate, is very short. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Sithole. Let me just check if there are any other hands up. There are no other hands up. Before
Yes.
I ask the Secretariat to form and the assisted, is there any other hands? No other hands. Before I ask the Secretariat to this.
Sorry, Acting Chair, can you hear me?
Sorry, your hand is not up. I think that's why I can't recognize you. But I can recognize you now.
That feature,
Okay.
like, yes, it's the same. I'm trying
Honorable
to.
Mandela, I recognize you now.
Thank you very much. Thanks. No, let me touch on, I think, also a point that the chairperson of the committee raised, regarding the 4 members being appointed by the president. I was just looking at, and maybe she's referring to a different one, but I'm referring to this one that I'm reading from. And maybe the officials are reading from the same. But constitution of an appointment of the councillors as per section 5 says the council consists of a chairperson and 8 other councillors appointed by the minister upon the approval by the National Assembly according to the following principles, and it highlights the principles. So I'm not sure which one maybe the chairperson is referring to, where the president is the person that appoints, whereas this one refers to as per section 5 of the Constitution, the National Assembly and the minister making a recommendation to the Speaker and the National Assembly to appoint. So maybe just to see clarity, so as to ensure we know what is the process exactly. Thanks.
Thanks, Honorable Ndlela. Temikosi, before I hand over to you, the sense I'm getting here is seems to be a rushed process, and that is why in my earlier I asked the question is that can the ICASA continue beyond the 24th with 5 members and do the
recording
business?
Stopped.
Because what seems to be happening here is that we are a committee that's convening for the first time, and this is the first time we are going through this process, and it somehow get the sense it's being rushed. So I'm going to hand over to you because I think there is a practical consideration, and that is Monday is a constituency day, and if we are going to use Monday, then we need to get permission from the chief whips of the respective political parties for their members to be deployed. The suggestion has been made for Friday. I get a sense that the program, if there's no urgency for us to meet the 1st of November, would it make sense for us to stretch it maybe by a week to allow members a bit more time to internalize the process and be comfortable? I think more importantly, that in the way we've done the work, we haven't rushed it So that's that would be my kind of like thoughts and reflection on it. So I'll hand over to Secretariat, and the Secretariat can then call upon Mr. Maleka and the doctor to guide. Over to you, Secretariat.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Excuse me, sir. Thank you very much, Honorable Members. Honorable Members, the program is as it stands. It was a proposal that we drafted based on the indication on the urgency of the matter. However, all the concerns that have been raised by the members in relation to the program are valid concerns. And as I had indicated, this is a program for this subcommittee, and members are more than welcome to make amends accordingly. We also do understand that, honorable members, the number of 270 is a big number. But as I had earlier also indicated that the members of the team, the content advisors, are working on a proposed shortlist. I would seek then to assist members, but as Ms. Matei had indicated that members will still receive all 270 CVs as well as the CV summaries. Honorable members, when we do the distribution, we'll also share a link that will take you to the submissions in the parliamentary documentation services. Members can use their parliamentary details to log in. It shouldn't give you a challenge. It will take you straight to the folder that contains all the information of the candidates. Honorable members, regarding the issue of the number of days that we had, the 12 days, maybe it's just an oversight from my side. I should have counted from the day that we'll adopt the short list until the date of the interviews. Those days we don't have honorable members. All that the Act says is that the names of the shortlisted candidates must be put on the ATC. But the issue of extending it to invite public comments as an initiative of the committee in order to try and make sure that the process is as open and fair as possible. So there is no number of days that is put down for the members of the public to submit those comments. However, having listened to the concerns that have been raised in relation to the days given or afforded to members before the committee sits, I think maybe we would have more days once the committee has shortlisted to give them to members of the public to make their comments. Just on the issue of the appointing authority, I will ask my colleagues whom I have entrusted with the Act to respond and clarify any concerns that might have been raised relating to that. Thank you, Chair. I'll hand over to my team. Thank you.
Thank you, Tembingoti. Let's just recognize your team to respond as well. Further, Mr. Maleka and the doctor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. Firstly, I'd like to clarify the Honorable Chairperson
Recording
of the committee.
in progress.
I'm assuming she's using a wrong booklet of the Act. We did hand out
Recording
new booklets
stopped.
when we were at the induction. The booklet is black and
Recording
green.
in progress.
That's the one that's the most relevant and most recent. And as Honorable Ndlela has confirmed, the Act is quite clear on Section 5, subsection 1, about the constitution of the council, including the principles around it. The other issue I wanted to address is still under Section 5, subsection 3, which talks to the issues around the people who can be appointed into the council. So it's got a myriad of issues that need to be covered, that are covered within that. That gives you sort of the parameters of the kind of persons that we're looking for. Furthermore, on the same section, Section 5, subsection 1B, it talks about the appointment, the authority of the appointment. So this is post the National Assembly submitting to the minister the 1.5 times the number of councillors to be appointed. It further says, subsection 1BA, the minister must recommend to the National Assembly from the list contemplated in subsection 1A. This is the list that we sent to the minister. Persons whom he or she proposes to appoint to serve on the council. If the National Assembly, that's subsection 1B, 1BB, if the National Assembly is not satisfied that the persons recommended for the appointment by the minister comply with subsection 3, the National Assembly may request the minister to review his or her recommendation. And then following the approval by the National Assembly of the minister's recommendation for appointment, the minister must appoint the chairperson or other councillor by notice in the Gazette. I think it's quite clear, honourable members, how we proceed with this matter. At least to say that we did have an incident during 5th Parliament. I'm sure you all may be well aware of it, when one candidate, which was appointed through by the committee, was rejected by the then minister. And there was a back and forth, but eventually it showed that the powers to appoint really rely with Parliament in consultation with the minister. So the minister does not have an outright option to disregard the people that we recommend to them. One other issue of critical note is that we may decide to provide the list in a chronological matter, in order of preference, so to speak. That way, we limit the options of the minister in terms of whom they can choose, whether it's number 12 versus number 1. So that's the kind of issue that will be resolved through this particular clause that I've just read. Doc, if you want to add anything else on my side, that's it, Honourable Chair.
Through you, Chair, if I may, on the nomination list of the 270 chair, indeed, we have undertaken an exercise of preliminary eliminating those who don't qualify on the basis of what would have been stipulated on the Act. We are busy with that exercise, and as soon as those that qualify, on the basis of the Act, have been sort of, the list has been refined. We'll then share a refined list with the members, which will definitely be, less than the 270, which have been nominated. And that list would definitely be shared before, the shortlisting process of next week. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair.
Just to add, maybe at the end, through you, Honourable Chair, is that we take note of the program and will be revised accordingly, taking into consideration members' concerns, and make sure that we don't unduly put you under pressure when we can spread the issues to be more comfortable. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, members from Secretariat, and thank you, members from the support. Honourable members, I think we've if there's any further additions and points of clarity before we agree on a plan of action going forward, we've heard the response that there is flexibility in terms of extending the program, so there is not too much of pressure on us. We've understood at the beginning, we made it clear that the work of ICASA will continue even with 5 members. So we are not stalling any process. And so I think I get a sense that We also got, a busy week next week in terms of the BRRR reports, etc., that we need to see through. So I get a sense that we will be very, very much guided by the by Secretariat and the content advisors in terms of the process. And as they've indicated, everything will be very transparent. We will be given the login, the codes, the criteria that has been used. So I have no doubt that the process will be transparent. I think the concern that I have and possibly members have is the amount of work to be done, to be overwhelmed by it, and then be called short of having rushed the process. I think that's the only sense of the concern we have. So may I suggest, therefore, that also just take into account that Honorable Ndlela will not be with us for the week of the following week. You won't be with us, Honorable Ndlela won't be with us the following week, from the 28th to the 1st. So what is being proposed to us, the 22nd. So can I get a sense, are we happy to work towards the 22nd, honorable members? Can we vote on that and get a consensus on the basis of what has been suggested to us? I would like Honorable Sithole, sorry, not Honorable Ndlela, Honorable Sithole has indicated he won't be with us from the 28th to the 1st. And can I get a sense, can we agree upon therefore having the process next week on the 22nd, where we review the shortlisted candidates for 12 on the basis that the Secretariat will give us the necessary logins and information. So we will have lots of homework to do between now and then, and we can get this process going. So at least on the 28th, and then the interviews will take place on that following week, Monday, which unfortunately, Honorable Sithole, you won't be there for that interviews. But can we agree upon that as honorable members? Or do we want to extend it for a week further? I think that's the point. Sorry, Honorable Bodlani, I recognize you. Sorry, my dear. I need to keep that. Recognize you.
Chair, I just wanted to maybe assist also with the process to say, for me, some of the dates that have been proposed are not necessarily conducive for myself, but noting that I've got another member on the portfolio committee who would then, if I am unable, be able to start with the process and see it to completion. I don't know if that assists Honorable Ndlela in any way, just so that I don't know if we were ever going to find a time where we are all available. So I thought I would raise it there. And the one thing I also wanted to raise in terms of buying ourselves more time, like you say, this is something that needs to still be taken to our caucuses. So I do not believe that we really need to rush this. And I really hope by the time we finish by the time the Secretariat finishes with the 270, it will be a reasonable figure so that we do justice to the process. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Bodlani. Honorable Diko.
Thank you, Chairperson. I was hoping that the Secretariat would just put up the list, the program again. If I heard members correctly, they were saying that Monday is a problem because of constituency work, which means that the day that is problematic then is that Monday, the 28th of October, and the Friday. Now, I don't think that there's necessarily a problem with moving. I heard what Honorable Bodlani has said, but then I think the smaller parties had selected the IFP and there's no alternate in that case. I stand to be corrected. So if members are okay with next week, Tuesday, the 22nd, being the day that we shortlist, and I'm not sure, well, I do know we have to go back to our caucuses, but I think the way that those CVs have been done, there's already a list that, puts the person's qualifications as well as their work experience. So you can go through it quite easily. But I think what I'm saying is that maybe let's confirm that 22nd. Is it okay? Honorable Bodlani sounds like is saying it may not be okay. There is no problem with moving the program and saying that we are working for having completed and making our recommendation by the end of November. Maybe if we then put the end of November as our completion day, we can then work backwards in terms of what, okay, so on the 22nd, then it means that we can proceed. Thank you for that, Honorable Bodlani. And then we skip that week so that we're able to also accommodate Honorable Sithole and we do the interviews in the following week. I think it's workable, Chair. And maybe just to affirm that ICASA does have a quorum, like you were saying, so they can proceed with their business as long as we don't take too long, you know. But that's my recommendation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Diko. Honorable Ndlela, I recognize you.
Honorable Chair, Acting Chair, I did not comment at all, just in response to Honorable Bodlani about the timelines, in as much as I do share the same sentiments regarding the program being quite tight. But just to respond to Honorable Bodlani through you, Chair, I did not comment on that. Thanks.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. I think there is consensus. I see Honorable Bodlani is agreeable with the 22nd. The chair is agreeable to the 22nd. I am in agreement with the 22nd. Honorable Sithole, I assume there's no objections to the 22nd. So let us agree upon. There seems to be consensus around the table amongst the subcommittee. Thank you, Honorable Bodlani. Noted. That 22nd next week we will stay on as the date for the shortlisting of the candidates for interviews. And the recommendation has been we set end of November as the last date for finalization, and that takes the pressure off us in terms of when we can have the interview. And then I think for us, at least at this meeting, we've agreed upon that. The suggestion has been made that we move the interviewing to October. The Honorable will be with us. So even if the interviews takes place, say on the 8th or the 15th of November, on that Friday, so we move it out of the Thursday, I mean from the Monday, so it's out of, I would suggest let's propose the 8th, which is the Friday of November for the interviews. Okay. And then the work program gets worked accordingly. So that will give us 2 weeks from the 22nd before the interviews. Okay, so Secretariat,
please repeat the proposed date.
The proposed date is next week, 22nd. We will have the shortlisted candidates, and of course, they will provide us all the logins. But the interview date, instead of being the 1st of November, is being moved to the proposed date is being moved to a Friday, the 8th of November. Okay, so hopefully Honorable Sithole will be with us, and it moves out of the constituency day of a Monday. So it's a Friday working day for us.
Whilst you're on the chair, sorry, if I may, the interviews, can we please have them physical? We can't be appointing people for 5 years on such critical roles and it's virtual. No.
Thank you, Honorable Ndlela. I recognize that. Secretariat, our first prize is always physical. I think Honorable Ndlela makes a valid point. It's going to be a 5-year relationship. We really want to have a sense of touch and feel of the people and develop that rapport. So I would strongly recommend a physical. Let's try and work on the Friday, the 8th. Honorable Bodlani has said it works. Accommodates Honorable Sithole. Can we have everything physical? What is the suggestion? Adoption. So just Secretariat will work their program accordingly based on that. Okay. May I also suggest what is the feeling of the House? Should we create a separate subcommittee, call it the ICASA interview subcommittee, where this conversation can take place? And that is what I'm proposing. So it doesn't get lost in the rest of the conversation of the portfolio committee.
Agreed, Chair.
Agreed. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure I've covered all the chats here. So we're going to create a separate subcommittee in which
Do you mean a separate WhatsApp group, Chair?
Yes,
Because
yes, of course.
Oh.
Yes, a separate WhatsApp group, or we call it the ICASA subcommittee. So in this kind of conversation, we can take it over there. It doesn't get dwarfed in any other important things that may happen within the subcommittee or within the PC group. Okay, I think we've agreed upon that. I think what's most important now is for the Secretariat through that WhatsApp group feed us the necessary amended program and the necessary information for the logins, etc. So, and induct us in terms of in that group, in the WhatsApp group, I'm proposing of what we need to do to review those 270 CVs and look at the shortlisting process. Okay, that's I think that's what we've agreed upon. Is there any further comments from the honourable members in terms of the process we've agreed to? No hands are recognized. There's no hands up. Okay, honourable members, in the absence of any further comments, I think we've agreed on a process. Let me appreciate and thank you all for your contributions and managing an awkward conversation, an awkward circumstance, because a lot of us are doing this for the first time. Okay, members, please note that we still have extra booklets. Should anybody need, I think just maybe bring it to PC for next week. We can always help. We'll take a copy of that, Mr. Maleka. So I think let me also thank the staff, the Secretariat, and the conference advisors for holding our hands to this process. We are certainly looking forward to your guidance as we fulfill this very, very significant and important responsibility of this committee. Honourable members, without there being any further hands up, I thank you all for joining this meeting, and this meeting is now adjourned. Giabonga, Kakulu, and thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair.
Giabonga, thank you, Chief. The meeting is adjourned now, Honourable Sitolo. You're at ease now.
Sorry, Chair, can I just ask the Secretariat and the advisors to remain for a few seconds?
Sure.
Thank you. Colleagues, we were supposed to have a MANCO. I'm just checking where everybody is because it was supposed to be a physical meeting. Tim goes.
When you sent the message, I'm not sure if you saw the message that I sent you.
Okay, and then the advisors, where are the advisors?
They are there, Chair. I think they are probably at 90 Plain Street. They joined from there, the meeting, Chair. So I'm not sure if they may be walking to a room that Loretta had suggested, because when they joined here, they were joining from 90 Plain.
Okay, and do you guys have a link with which you are going to join the meeting?
Yes, Chair, there was a link that was created by Hachira for that meeting.
Okay. All right, let me go and look. Can you just check the room number for me? And Martin, I hope they told you that I don't accept your apology, eh? Hey, Mr. Rasmus. Tim Gossett, do you have the room number?
I'm trying to find it quickly, Chair. It's committee room. Where's Loretta?
Okay, I'll walk there now. Okay, sure.
All right, sure.